Okay, let's see this. We learn about 5 answers in forward block. Forward block, its objectives, forward block formation, INA, INA, as well as objectives of INA and contribution of your leader called as Subhash Chandra Bose. Bose felt the need to organize a left wing in the Congress, underlining the word left wing. After resigning from his presidentship of Congress in 1931, he laid the foundation of a new party. Please mark the words within the Congress. As I discussed earlier, he said, I'm not going outside Congress, not giving British any chance for divide and rule. We are starting everything inside the Congress. Left wing. He bought the entire left wing under one banner called as Forward Bloc. 3rd May 1939 date is very important. They may ask you what happened on 3rd May 1939. Here is a picture of Bose and Gandhi. There are many pictures of Bose and Gandhi. They were two very recognized leaders who used to work for Congress and India. Thoda ideologies were different, but they were very closely working with each other under the Congress. Immediate objective of forward block, short answer, please mark 100%. There is not a year has gone by where they have not asked you objectives of forward block. Forward block का immediate objective, as you can see, is marked in green there. Liberalization of India. सबसे पहले तो इंडिया को फ्री करो. With the help of workers, peasants, youths, and other organizations. Confirm? Then the long-term objectives of the Congress. Long-term objectives of the forward block will be as follows. The forward block would work for the establishment of a socialist state. Socialist matlab a state which will be under the government. Economic students, you've learned about capitalist economy. Last year, socialist economy. History students have also learned about capitalist economy and socialist economy in the Industrial Revolution chapter. A socialist state is a state which is everything is owned by government. Example is China. Everything is owned by the government. You don't have the freedom to do anything yourself. However big you are, however small you are yet under the government. They said we will make India a socialist state so that the government can develop India very quickly. A socialist state develops quickly. Countries historically, Singapore and all, they grew very quickly because the government used to take charge of every sector. It's not that a capitalist scenario could be that you would only want to go to that sector which makes money. Socialist में क्या होता है, government बोलता है I'll take care of everything. So the country usually grows equally. How will we do that? Reorganization of agriculture and industry on socialist lines. Abolition of the zamindari system, which you studied last year in the Constitution chapter also. Zamindari system was a very bakwas system in India. It got abolished. And introduction of new monetary and credit system. New monetary and credit matlab banking and all will be reorganized. Confirm? This was the immediate and then the after attaining independence long-term objectives. Introducing you to INA. This you've already studied last chapter, chapter number 7, but very important. Who was the first commander-in-chief of INA? Mohan Singh was the first commander in chief of INA. Please have a look at photo of Mohan Singh just for reference. They will not give you picture study, but Mohan Singh for INA. This is Mohan Singh for INA. He was the commander in chief of INA who made sure that in Hindi we call it the Azad Hind Force. Now, how did INA get formed? INA got formed because India joined hands with Japan. India joins hands with Japan. You did that in Quit India movement, right? Instead of Japanese threat, we said Japan. Common enemy is British. Friend ka friend. Enemy ka enemies are friend. The idea of INA was conceived by Mohan Singh in Malaya. Where? In Malaya. He was an Indian officer in the British Indian Army, and he took a decision, very important decision, turning point decision, crucial decision. The decision could go against him also. He decided not to join the retreating British army. He goes against orders. Not to join the retreating British army. Instead, he went for Japan to help. Yeah, went for Japan for help. Japan ना भी बोल सकता था. But he said we'll take the risk. We'll go for Japan for help. Japan हाँ बोलने वाला था. He did not join the retreating British army. The Japanese had till then only encouraged Indian civilians to join any British anti-British organization. So it's not that the Japan liked the British. Japan also hated the British, but वो time का rule था कि only Indian civilians can join anti-British organizations. They had no concept of starting a military wing consisting of Indian soldiers. That is, they had no concept of Indian soldiers and Japanese soldiers shaking hands and fighting against the British. This Japan had never thought, nor had they conceived this idea also. This idea was conceived by in Malaya by Mohan Singh when he took the decision of not to join the retreating British army, but go and shake hands with Japan. What was the outcome of the shaking of hands? The POWs, Indian POWs, were handed over by Japan to Mohan Singh, who introduced them in the INA. So whichever prisoner of war was there, whichever Indian prisoner of war was there in Japan, they said you are free to go and join INA now. Please understand, prisoners of war, not very well treated. But you're freeing them to go and allow them to join INA. The fall of Singapore was crucial. It bought 45,000 Indian POWs in Mohan Singh influence. 45,000 Indian POWs joined INA once Singapore fell. By the end of 1942, 40,000 men had expressed their willingness to join INA. Confirm? You can see INA is becoming very, very popular. People are genuinely wanting to join INA to throw the British out. ये टाइम पे इंडिया में क्या चल रहा था? ये टाइम पे इंडिया में क्विट इंडिया मूवमेंट is ongoing. Please bracket that statement. As you can see, INA would go into action only on the invitation of the INC and the people of India. INA is where? INA is outside India. They said an army for India, but which is outside India. Thoda unique strategy. Army is outside India for the country, but is ready to go to war only when the country says. When the INC and the people of India say, INA, let's go for war, that time you can go for war. The flag of the INA was very similar to the tricolor flag of Congress. That is the tricolor flag, MCQ, unity, justice, and faith. Contributions of Bose. I've given you multiple contributions. Please learn all. Freedom struggle outside India. So if you know a little about history of Bose, Bose escaped, if I'm not wrong, escaped from jail through Japanese submarines and German submarines. He went to different part of the world. That is, he went to Japan. He went to Germany. He met Hitler also. He said, Hitler, please support us in the war. Hitler said, we can't support you because you're in Asia and we are in Europe. And वो तो खुद ही अपने all sides से he was fighting a war. That meeting was not very successful, but Japan supported us, which was the allies of Germany. Apart from that, if you know your All India Radio, which was there at that time, All India Radio, they say was held to be set up by Germany. Hitler and Germany helped us set up All India Radio for India. ऐसा नहीं है ना बोला था, बड़ा थोड़ा help भी किया. So these are the contributions of Bose. Please understand, Bose has now left India and he is working outside India for freedom. He's formulating, he's making sure that the army becomes stronger and stronger. And if you remember 1942 to 45, period inside India was very dormant. Every leader was in jail, declared illegal, leaders were in jail. This sir left India from the jail and went to do a little world tour for getting support. He led Indian freedom struggle outside India as the supreme commander of INA. He not only did that, outside India, he set up a provincial government of Free India in Singapore. So he starts a provincial government. Provincial matlab temporary government. उसने आर्मी भी तैयार कर दिया, उसने गवर्नमेंट भी तैयार कर. He said, British, if you leave tomorrow, I have my army ready. If you want to fight, we can fight. If you leave also, my provincial government is ready. They are ready to take all over the decision. Understand, history taught leaders that whenever war happens or whenever independence happens, that's what you studied in grade 8 also, American Civil War, if you remember the chapter, wherever a independence scenario happens, country do break out into civil wars. थोड़ा अगर तुमको याद होगा, French Revolution, execution of the French kings, so on and so forth, that you study in World War I and II also. All these things tell you that revolutions do break out, civil wars may break out. Both said, my government is ready. Chances of these things happening would be very, very less. He declared war. Bose ne to bola INA is now declaring war. INA, that is Bose and INA, declared war on Britain and USA. And they actually acquired the first stretch of territory when Japan handed over India the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. We fought the British in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. We took over them and we sent a statement that India is ready for physical war also. Basically, non-violence abhi nahi hoega. We can be ready to fight a war. Please mark for MCQ. Netaji, the great leader, he was given the title. Bose arrived in Singapore by German and Japanese submarines. So वो सब meeting करके he came to Singapore. Once he reached Singapore, 2 days later, he took charge of the Indian Independence League. We don't have the Indian Independence League in our syllabus, just the name is mentioned. Otherwise, there was a time where the answer of Indian Independence League also was there. A chapter इसलिए छोटा हो गया. Bose was given the title or greeting as Netaji, the great leader. He was the supreme commander of INA. Indian headquarters, INA headquarters were in Yangon and in Singapore, and it now began to reorganize the INA. Recruits from civilians were also taken. INA ने बोला civilians can also join the INA. We will train you for war. Aim is to say that things have got real. There is a good chance that India may go to war with British. And they were ready to take over the country through the means of war. In other words, not to say anything wrong, but both non-violence, non-violence was laid aside. Now we want violence. We are ready for war. He gave the slogans, please mark MCQ, give me blood, I shall give you freedom, Delhi chalo, Jai Hind. The INA gave tough fights to the British in the Assam hills. Now they not only have captured Andaman and Nicobar, now they are capturing the mainland India also. Huh? Understand, mainland India was little difficult to capture because that was mainland. अंडमान निकोबार थोड़ा साइड में था, पानी से अटैक करके ले लिया. अंडमान निकोबार आइलैंड्स के बाद they came to mainland India. Assam hills, they captured Ukral and Koima. However, reference can be given to the last line. Please mark. Japan in the Second World War lost. The surrender of Japan in the Second World War also sealed the fate of INA. Japan, when Japan retreated, when Japan had to go back, the INA numbers dropped very big because we were not ready for a self army. We used to take support from Japan. Japan gone, INA's fate also got sealed. But INA, however, was an inspiring example. Till date, it's a very limited example of an army being formed outside the country, but fighting for inside the country. INA had a women's regiment, Rani Jhansi Regiment, led by Dr. Lakshmi Swaminathan. Training camps in a number of training camps were opened to cope with the large number of volunteers who were ready to join INA. It was not that the INA was accepting civilians, it was the civilians also who were ready to dedicate themselves to the INA. Women were also ready to join the INA women's regiment. Rani Jhansi Regiment. I hope you know who was Rani Jhansi. Chapter 1, you will study about Rani Jhansi. Main objectives of INA, short, please mark, just like objectives of forward bloc. Fight the British with modern arms. Organized an armed revolution. This task was given to the Indians who were living abroad, especially to the East Asia Indians. They organized the provincial government to mobilize all the forces effectively. Indian manpower and money was used. Their motto was unity, faith, and sacrifice. Please mark those MCQs and objectives. Did INA achieve its objectives? Yes, INA achieved its objectives to some extent. Those were the achievements of INA. Andaman, Nicobar, Ukral, Koima. Eventually, unfortunately, INA could not do more than this because Japan's fate sealed in World War II. Again, one more important answer. INA is a unique army, explain. Or INA was a revolutionary army, explain. INA was far different than the normal armies. Why? Because it was organized on foreign soil. Very less scenario. ऐसा कभी होता नहीं है that your army is on foreign soil. It was made outside India, but ready to fight for India. It depended upon all foreign resources like planes, tanks, artilleries, rifles, ammunitions, even the lorries to transport the soldiers to the war front. The INA didn't have anything of its own. It was all dependent on foreign resources. They didn't have lorries also. The trucks also to take your soldier to the war front also were given from foreign sources. It depended upon the patriotic fervor of the nationalists of East India, Myanmar, for money, men, clothing, food, and all the civilian supplies. Please mark this. Patriotic fervor means patriotic feeling. It's not that the INA is asking, it is that the outside Indians are also giving. They are also ready to give whatever they have to the INA. Men, money, clothing, civilian supplies, and so on. Obviously, medicines or ये सब भी लगेगा ना. Army है, people will get injured. However, it is the greatest asset was the spirit of sacrifice of the men who enthusiastically were ready to lay down their lives. In the end, people knew that they might die. फिर भी civilians were ready to join the war. Last aspect, provincial government. Some schools may cancel this, but it's important to go through this part of the chapter. If it is cancelled, you can omit it for your school exams. Bose set up a provincial government in Singapore 1943. The provincial government declared war on two countries called as Britain and US. The provincial government was recognized by multiple countries. Provincial government was given a status in the world strata by multiple countries like Japan, Germany, Italy, Burma, that is Myanmar, and Thailand. Basically, these were all oppositions of British and USA in World War II. What was the two main objectives of the provincial government? They wanted to launch and conduct the struggle which will happen against the British, but from the outside of the Indian soil. And the last one, that is one more two objectives. Another important task assigned to this government was to establish a permanent national government of the Azad Hind. They said this is a provincial government. As soon as changes occur, this government provincial should become permanent. Temporary should change into permanent. 1942, 14 and 15 answers, question numbers are interrelated. Bose shifted its headquarters from Singapore to Rangoon. Bose ने बोला provincial headquarters government का we move from Singapore to Rangoon. Now, why did he leave Singapore and came to Rangoon? The shifting was of great importance. Why? Please bracket, because now the border of India from Myanmar was only separating them. Basically, he bought the provincial government much closer to landmass India. The eastern gate of India was now within the reach of the provincial government, was now within the reach of Bose, was now within the reach of INA. Bola army bhi is just waiting at the door. The government is also just waiting at the door. If British run away, we are ready to take over. It is just that they have not got entry into India. They are at the eastern gates of India. That is the east. Because West India में तो पानी है. That is south. We are on the west coast. East India में they were ready to enter from Myanmar and Assam. Confirm. Two islands which were renamed as Shahid and Swaraj. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands were renamed by Bose as Shahid and Swaraj when Bose got the Andaman Nicobar Islands freed. Slogans repeated: Delhi Chalo, give me blood, I shall give you freedom, Jai Hind. One of the final answers, achievements of Bose are also some of them which are repeated. The INA made preparation to launch its fight for free India in 1944 and went into action on February 1944. What did INA do? INA ऐसा नहीं है कि कुछ भी नहीं win किया. INA won a lot of places. INA captured Modoc. Modoc was an outpost situated in the east southeast of Chittagong. And now INA was advancing towards the border of India. So INA won Andaman Nicobar Islands. INA wins Modoc. INA wins Klang Klang. INA also won the strong military post of the Klang Klang. ये सब East India में था. Number 4, INA gave a tough fight in the Assam hills and succeeded in capturing Ukral and Kohima. They had raised the tricolor flag for the first time on the Indian soil in 1944. Please mark for MCQ. The Free India soil in East India had been raised by the INA that the British has lost these positions in 1944 March 19. This is nothing but this is this part picture study. Identify the person, was the leader Subhash Chandra Bose. Army is INA. Application questions are contributions and INA being a revolutionary army. Completes your chapter number 8.